Welcome to the Switchblade Sisters Social Club, a true crime podcast where two sisters exploit their worst fears for your entertainment. You're welcome. I'm Dee.
And I'm Rhonda, and together we are the Sake Sisters. For more information, check out our website at www.switchbladesistersocialclub.com or find us on Instagram and Facebook at Switchblade Sisters Social Club.
Thanks for listening. Hi, this is Switchblade Sisters Social Club, and my name is Dee.
And I'm Rhonda.
And we are a true crime podcast where two sisters exploit our worst fears for your entertainment. You are welcome. And today is the last episode of the season.
And I'm feeling emotional about it. I started to really feel emotional about it yesterday. Also just the fact that we got to 2 whole seasons,
And we have had a crazy year, more to follow, but it's been just bonkers, hasn't it?
Also the other thing is, I was just going to say, I'm going to miss everyone because I feel like when we're recording, don't you feel like we're in conversation with our listeners, like the ones that we know and that we speak to and stuff? I actually feel like, everyone that we know that listens, they're here with us now. It actually feels like
because we feel like we're specifically recording for them.
Completely. That's exactly what we're doing.
So before we get too emotional right off the bat, we'll talk more about that later because it's going to come up, I'm sure, in the People's Pulse at the end of the episode. Really happy that we found the People's Pulse formula, huh? That's been
my favorite. It's my favorite. It's probably my favorite, arguably my favorite thing about the whole podcast.
And then but I wanted to explain something because some of you might have noticed my fancy pajamas. Sorry, just popped my collar. Because
like Shaft.
Yeah, because I feel like all season I've been making fun of you for your lumberjack pajamas that you've been recording in.
Which I'm half wearing. I just changed the top half to look a bit more fancy.
Well, today I was like, fuck it. So I've made myself a hot water bottle and I've got in my pajamas.
Yeah, no, it's the way to do it. Don't you feel more relaxed?
Well, yeah, I feel more relaxed, but I thought I'd make an effort.
As soon as I started like not recording at a desk and recording at the dining table in the conservatory and wearing pajamas, I was like, oh, this is cozier. I feel more relaxed.
And Patreon now allows for adult content, so I thought I can be in my sexy pajamas and not worry about our camping. But look, they're a Care Bear.
I've actually given some serious consideration. I've given some serious consideration to OnlyFans in the last week.
Do you know what I mean? If people want to pay to see our feet,
that's it. I think we have nice ones too, as far as feet go.
We do have cute feet.
Yeah, if they've been complimented before. Yeah, so given that some consideration.
Okay, so let's explain about the season and the end of the season. Basically, we have dug up some vintage Rhonda and Dee episodes. So keep an eye out. There will still be content weekly. This is from my previous podcast, We Knew the Moon, where Rhonda used to come and guest. And so we've got some amazing episodes, one on cult, one on Anton LaVey. They're just so good. So that you'll get one of those a week. So you will hopefully not miss us too much. And then we also have, I don't know what order they're all coming out in yet, apologies, but we've got the interview that we did with Dr. Honor Dora Townshend, who is an amazing criminologist who features on Crime Investigation Channel. She's got a bunch of shows on there. And then yesterday I interviewed, was it yesterday or the day before? I did an amazing interview.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous.
God. Okay, so let me just tell you guys this story. I write for the Crime Investigation Channel. I do a lot of podcast recommendations. And at the end of last year, I did an article with the top 10 true crime books of 2023. And I thought when they asked me to do that, I was like, easy, because I read so many books. As you know, you always tease me for it. And then when I went back and...
But when I went back, thirst for knowledge.
I know, such a bookworm. When I went back through all the books I'd read, I was like, fuck, only one of them is from 2023. All of the rest of them are older. And I don't like to recommend anything. Like, if you ever read my articles, I listen to each of those fucking podcasts, at least 2 episodes, not just one, but at least 2 before I recommend them, because I don't want to accidentally recommend something fucking shit.
Like when you recommend a tradesman.
What? Oh, yeah. Who did I? Oh,
No, I
Yeah.
mean in general.
Oh yeah,
You got to make sure
yeah.
they're good,
Yeah, yeah.
or it bites you in the ass.
Exactly. So it's the same with the book. So I was like, fucking hell, I got a lot of reading. So this what should have been a quick like listicle type article actually was like the most time-consuming project I've ever taken on. And I really wanted to have a bunch of different books, different types of crimes and stuff, so that there would be something on there for everyone. So I included on there a book that I'd seen come up that looked amazing called Borgata, by Louis Ferranti. And it's basically the first in a trilogy about the mafia. And this guy, he was like one of the right-hand men of John Gotti, who was the Gambino
Mm,
family in New York. Like
fucking
he was
hell.
up there.
Oh my God. I would have had so many questions about mob wives. That's another reality show.
Yeah, well, I was really gutted because that was one question, one thing that we didn't get around to talk to. I mean, I could have talked to this man for like 800
Oh,
hours
do
and
you know
still had
what?
more questions.
I'm
But
obsessed with him because of his accent. He has got the
oh,
best fucking mafia accent I have ever heard, and I am fucking jealous because I missed out on an opportunity to flirt with a mafia man because that guy
well,
would have been in trouble.
so don't you worry. Don't you
Oh,
worry,
oh,
because so I'd written this article, included this book on there. It was far more interesting. I knew it would be interesting, but it was even more interesting than I imagined because book one is mainly about the history of the mafia, how it got started in Sicily, and how it ended up being kind of exported to the US. And it was so interesting. And then I get a fucking email from his publisher saying, "Do you want to interview him?" And I was like, fuck yes. And then I asked you, do we want to interview him? Knowing full well I'd already replied, fuck yes, to this publisher. Luckily, you were like, fuck yes. Unfortunately, you had childcare issues, etc., so you couldn't make it. So I interviewed him. But do you know what he told me?
what?
He said
Oh,
it wasn't even his publisher that had found the article originally. He found the article. He must have a Google
oh,
alert set up on his book or himself or whatever. And he told his publisher, "Get me on that podcast. These girls
oh,
are cool."
oh, fuck.
It was, do you know what it
Oh
reminded me of?
God, thank God that's recorded because I'm gonna listen to that over and over. Oh,
Oh, well, I'm telling you now because that was actually before I pressed record. But he loves us. He wants to come back. And I was like, hell yes. So we're going to get him back on
oh
when,
my God.
like I said, it was the first of a trilogy. So whenever he releases book 2 and 3, we're getting him back. When he comes to London, he wants to
How
come
long
for
is
a
that
drink
gonna
with
be? I
us.
can't wait.
I know. I asked him.
Fuck.
I
Oh my
know.
God, we have a date. I can't. I'm obsessed with this guy after hearing his accent.
Oh my God.
That
Well,
accent
we'll be
does
releasing
it.
because I already sent you a few of the teasers, didn't I?
Oh my God.
We'll release some teasers and everything, but it honestly it was just
Oh my God. I know we have a
fascinating.
habit of like flirting with and being completely inappropriate with our interviewees, but
I
oh
mean, I
God.
won't say I remained entirely professional, but I didn't do so much flirting.
You didn't call him hunky.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Oh.
But we talked about you a lot, obviously. You
Oh
know, he released a rap song.
no.
And so one of my questions was, where the hell do I find this? I spent ages on the internet and the internet did not deliver.
No. I love this guy.
I love him too. So yeah, keep an eye out because that was fascinating. And like I said, mob crimes, mafia stuff is not our go-to,
I'm about
is
to
it?
slide into his DMs. And do you know what? Some of my favorite films are mafia films. Like one of my favorite
I
films is The Departed.
know.
Fucking love a
Do you
mafia guy.
remember my mum reminded me about how my dad had a sulk about around my wedding because he wanted to do a father-daughter dance, which I was already like, no, cringe. Like I didn't want to do very many of these traditional
Oh
cringy
God,
things.
no, we don't do that kind of thing.
No, but he wanted to do a father-daughter dance, and I was like, we've never danced together in our life. And the thought of doing a dance and everyone watching was just
I
like,
know.
oh.
It makes me cringe. I didn't do any of that stuff either. Like all
No,
the
but he
face
wanted to
rolling and
do the
yeah,
dance to
yeah.
the theme tune of The Godfather.
I
I was
mean, it
like,
was almost a
what?
missed opportunity that could have gone
I
viral.
mean, that was hilarious. It's hilarious, but he wasn't doing it ironically. He didn't
No, he
want to
really
do it.
wanted to. He was serious about that.
Yeah, and I was like, what
Yeah.
kind of message are you trying to send here, Pops? Because the right message. So keep an eye out for those interviews, and then also keep an eye out on our website. You can sign up to our mailing list, listeners, and we will send you all of these things to your email, so you don't have to remember things. But we've got a series of events at the brewery market. Every 2 months we've got an event now. We've got one coming up for Valentine's Day or an anti-Valentine's Day, depending on your own mindset. where we're going to be doing killer couples, crimes of passions, and craft beers. That's the bad romance event. I can do an event on Valentine's Day because I got no other plans. And then we got some others. We got a St. George's Day where we're going to be pairing
English. I do say that, but our fucking DMs, as soon as D is single, they come a flocking.
It's like flies on shit. And in that analogy, I am the shit. But anyways, yeah, so St. George's Day event, English beers with English criminals and serial killers, and then we've got a Pride event. Oh my God, Rhonda, I was super emotional this whole week. Not necessarily bad emotion, but you know when you're just like
PMS.
This close to tears. Yeah, okay, I was PMS.
PMS, yeah.
So we're doing a Pride event where we're going to be pairing beers that are from queer-owned breweries with crimes that affect the queer community, et cetera, et cetera. And I had requested from a friend who's in the know a charity that we could donate some of the proceeds to. And she came up with Gendered Intelligence, and just reading their page, and it was just like so beautiful what they do that it was making me really emotional. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them. Fucking amazing. So that's going to be our charity of choice for that evening. And but yeah, do check out our events on our event page, sign up to our mailing list, and we will keep you posted.
And check out our merch.
Oh my God, our merch. Yeah.
We got some sexy merch.
Sexy merch. And if you do check out our merch and literally check it out, as in buy it, send us pictures.
Oh, there's nothing that makes me happier than seeing our faces on people's boobs.
Right? Across the world.
It's madness, and the kind of madness that we love.
Yeah, it's like one of those moments where you're like, what is my life now?
Yes, yeah. Do you know what, Gina? I'm thinking of Gina. Gina, you are a highlight of my life. Never in my life did I ever think that we would make friends with somebody across the pond who loves our podcast, hopefully, and wears our t-shirt. It's fucking madness.
Right?
That's like better than like, I mean, that's probably the best thing on my CV.
I know. It's like one of those moments where you're like, we've made it.
Yeah.
Because we've hit.
Die happy.
Yeah. So we love you all.
Do you want me and you? You know, like how we always used to, like when we were younger, when we were kids and teenagers, like, oh my God, they like us. They really like us. We'd always say that. We'd always say that. Huh? Oh my God, they like us. They really like us.
They really like us.
The funny thing is, we don't give a fuck if somebody doesn't like us, but we're happy if people do like us.
We're happy when the people that we like, if you like us back.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's nice. Love it. Loves it.
All right, so part of the other reason why I got super excited about like changing to my pajamas and getting my hot water bottles, because it's your turn to present a topic. And I just thought, I'm going to get ready for story time.
Do you know what? I'm telling you, podcasters, podcast in your fucking pajamas. Like, it is the way forward. I am in my pajamas. I am wearing a thermal Marks and Spencer's top with my, I'll show you again. Look how flexible I am.
Oh, you're super flexible. Oh, can I give a shout out to, speaking of Marks and Spencer's sleep bra.
Oh, yes.
Super comfy. Very comfy. Have you got one?
I bought one after you said.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Amazing, right?
Yep.
I don't know what it is about it, but it is.
I know. And I buy their super soft socks, and they fucking are. They feel like cashmere. I'm in a good mood all day when I wear them. Can't wear anything else now. Yep.
Interesting. All right. Well, just tell me the fucking story.
So, you know, this season.
Sorry, can I just say I've got strawberry daiquiri.
Fucking hell.
Go.
Tell the fucking story.
Go on.
Show me your daiquiri. Let me see. That looks colorful.
Because I popped into Galata May House in Twickenham on the way home and got some dinner and takeaway strawberry daiquiri.
So this season, you know how I've been trying to find cases that weren't about murder? One, because, you know, murder gets depressing. And also, I'm fucking more fascinated by just the mental shit. Okay, so the
murders can be quite samey.
They can, like we said last week.
Horrendous, but samey.
Yeah, like we said last week, a lot of the serial killers that we've talked about have sort of fit the Levi Bellfield sort of profile, you know? And so
oh my God, sorry, I just have to tell you an anecdote.
fucking hell. Okay.
No, because I
What?
was in Twickenham
Uh-huh.
and I got the bus home. It's a
Okay.
couple of stops.
Mm-hmm.
Got off at Twickenham Green, but
Okay.
as we were going past, like going sort of alongside Twickenham Green, there was a drunk guy at the front, you know, the type, looked rough, looked like he just got out of prison in that he had
Mm-hmm.
a whole bunch of belongings in the top half of a cat carrier, like a pet
Okay.
carrier, just had like clothes and everything. He was changing on the bus. He was changing his jumper, t-shirt,
Mm-hmm.
everything. Fucking weird. Smelled like
Yeah,
alcohol.
you're making me nervous.
Driving alongside Twickenham Green and he starts going, Levi Belfield, what a wanker.
Oh,
And I was thinking, yeah, yeah. And he's like, Levi, wherever you
really?
are. And I was like, in prison up north. Wherever
Really?
you
Said
are,
that.
you better hope you don't come out. I mean, this guy had been talking
Oh.
to himself loudly the entire time. He just moved, but he was like, Marsha McDonald. He starts naming the victims and everything.
Wow.
You come
What?
out, you better know that I'm gonna find you and
Oh,
hunt you like a
geez, we need
predator.
to
And
interview that guy. What the fuck do you
we
think
don't
that
need to
was?
interview
Okay,
the
well, what the
drunk
fuck was
guy.
that? What
I
was
don't know,
that?
but
Wow, what's the story
I was thinking
there?
into him, don't worry, pal. He's not coming out. He's not coming out.
What the fuck is the story
And he was
there?
like, and if I ever find myself in prison with you, and I was like, highly likely, I'm gonna kill you, and the guards are just gonna stand around and laugh.
Wow, what the fuck is the backstory there?
I don't know, but
Whoa.
like I said, I mean, you know, he was probably about 10 years older than us, and if he was local, he would have been,
Whoa.
yeah, but like I said, he was naming the victims and
Wow. I'm
everything, so
fascinated. I'm fucking fascinated.
yeah.
I would have
But
probably been a little,
I was fascinated too, but I also did not want to start a
yeah,
conversation
yeah,
with this
yeah, a little
man.
terrified, but also a little in awe
Mhm.
and curious.
Yeah. So Levi, if you do ever come out, that guy's gonna fucking get you. And I hope he does.
Fucking great story.
Yeah, sorry, I had
Okay,
to
no, no, no,
mention
that
it.
was worthy. That was an interruption worth having. Okay,
Okay, now
so
tell me the fucking story.
okay, so I picked a case that I fucking hope you don't know this one because you know everything. I scrolled past it a couple weeks ago and I was like, what the fuck? It was one of those. Like a what the fuck? Okay, so have you heard of the curious case of Natalia Grace?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm so happy. Okay, so I'm not
Oh,
going to tell you what I think until the end because until today, my mind was changing.
whoa.
And
Okay.
I tell you why my mind was changing. And this really fucking made me so aware of people having opinions without knowing all the facts because I'd read sources, I listened to two podcasts. One was called Women in Crime, hosted by two criminologists. One was, oh shit, I'll tell you at the end, some sort of criminal justice thing, a lady that works in criminal justice system in the US. And both had differing opinions, very differing opinions. And had I listened to one, I would have thought one way. Had I listened to the other, I would have thought that way because
Yeah.
they didn't present all the facts. And I think at the point that those podcasts were recorded, so basically there's a TV series that's out called The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, part one, which is 6 parts. I have not watched it because I don't have access to this channel. I think it's just Paramount or Discovery. 6 part series. They're bringing out a part two soon, more from Natalia's perspective. So I'm not going to tell you what I think until the end, because honestly, until today, I was chopping and changing based on what I was reading and listening to. Then, you know, our dearest friend Jamie, one of my oldest childhood friends, who is our
Love you,
viewer.
Jamie.
Jamie was actually the one who told me more about this case and did help do the research for this case. And don't you worry, listeners, she is the most highly remunerated person in this whole podcast shit show. We do not exploit our friends. And if anyone needs a podcast researcher,
Not financially.
but
Anyway.
if anyone needs a podcast researcher, Jamie is phenomenal. So yeah, so I spoke to Jamie. I was like, what the fuck do you think? And then she told me what she thinks. And then I think what she thinks. So
Yeah, she's probably right. She's Jamie.
yeah. So I'll tell you at the end because I really want to know what the fuck you make of it.
All right, okay. Let me tell you what I think first, and
Oh,
then you tell me what you think.
oh. What now?
No, after you tell me the
Oh,
fucking
okay. I was
actual
gonna
fact.
say okay, so let me start.
Just to see if we come to the same conclusion or whether we can.
Yeah. So it's been over a decade since a couple from Indiana adopted a child from Ukraine. And they became convinced that she was an adult impersonating a child. So they
I do know of this one, but I cannot wait. Okay, because I don't know much about it. Yeah.
So they abandon her, which sets off an international media frenzy and a legal showdown with authorities who accuse them of neglect of a dependent. And actually, interestingly, a lot of comparisons were drawn between this story and a film called Orphan, which was about a Russian lady impersonating a child to be adopted. I haven't seen it, can't comment. But anyway, in case anyone has seen that film, there's a lot of parallels apparently. So, or are there? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Christina and Michael Barnett, they were a wealthy religious family. And they had 3 sons. They were like the picture perfect white American wealthy new build 5,000 square foot mansion, multiple cars, including a Lamborghini, you know, that kind of family. Waspy. Alarm bells.
Yes. And, pillars of the community.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So, just a little side fact, which could be of relevance. They have 3 sons, and their eldest son, Jacob, was autistic. And he was actually a maths prodigy and even participated in TED Talks, travels around, when he was a kid, traveled around giving paid presentations. He was an academic researcher at the age of 12, like proper, he had an IQ higher than Einstein, like, proper fucking genius,
What the fuck are we doing with our lives?
Yeah.
We've achieved nothing.
So their eldest son was a genius. And so she'd written a book. I can't remember the name of the book, something about being a mother of a genius. And she ran a lucrative special needs daycare from home. And the couple were planning to adopt a little girl from Haiti because Christina, she wanted a daughter. Wanted a daughter. It felt like the family would only be complete when they have a daughter. So when the 2010 earthquake hit, all the adoptions were canceled. So that adoption fell through.
Really? I didn't know that. You would have thought they'd push them through faster.
Yeah. Well, one source said this, another just said that it had fallen through. And so they were called by an agency.
Couldn't Sean Penn fix it all?
Oh my God. Yes, I do.
Do you remember how he went to Haiti and tried to fix Haiti? Bless him. Shouldn't laugh because it's one of the rare-ish occasions where people use their celebrity for good, but I don't know. It was like when David Hasselhoff brought down the Berlin Wall.
Oh yeah. Oh God, that I remember.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
So they were called by an adoption agency after this fell through. And they were told that they've got the perfect fit for them, which is a 6-year-old girl with dwarfism born in 2003. But red flag, they were told they only had 24 hours to decide. Which this is not a foster placement where sometimes they need emergency housing. Yeah. This was like for adoption. So
what was the reason for the 24-hour
they were given little to no information. And Christine, sorry, I called her Christina earlier, desperately wanted a girl, so took this as a sign to say yes. So at the adoption agency, they see, and this is according to Michael, the husband, who is peering through a keyhole, that her previous adoptive family drops her off and leaves. Now, the first night, this is spring 2010. The first night, Christine takes Natalia, so Natalia is the 6-year-old girl with dwarfism, takes her to the bathroom to wash and dress her for bed. Michael then hears Christine screaming, and he comes running, and they're shocked to see, and sorry for these details, that she has full pubic hair. So they thought, okay, this is, she's 6. Why is this? And then soon after, Christine discovers bloody socks that have been thrown out the window. And Natalia admits she has her period and has been hiding it, which I'll go into more detail about. So Natalia has a rare form.
If we need to say this to any listeners, it's very rare for a 6-year-old to have a period or pubic hair.
But she has a rare form of dwarfism. I'm going to try to say it. Spondylopiphyseal dysplasia congenita, affecting only about 35 people in the whole world. That's the longest word I've ever seen. The doctor they take her to happens to know another little girl of the same age with the same condition called Therese. It's only 35 people in the whole world with this condition. They meet, and there is a physical difference between them. So Therese looks more childlike than Natalia. And Therese's mother recalls the meeting and describes Natalia as more mature and says she could hold a conversation and spoke really good English. And Natalia dismisses Therese when she's talking about princesses and like normal kid chat, and always sort of prefers to talk with adults. Now, yes, that could be a sign that she is older, but at the same time also, Natalia was passed around
harder life.
Yeah, she was passed around 30 different homes, 30 different families, 30.
And do you remember when you were working in the nursery, you said even by the age of 3, there's a huge difference in development depending on how much the parents talk to the kids, what kind of activities they do with the kids, et cetera, et cetera.
That and also just their biological development. Some kids develop later and some earlier, but I mean, there are stats about, you know, the number of words kids have in their vocabulary versus how many books they have at home and things like that. So all these things play a factor, you know, but you know, there's a lot of factors, you know, there's a lot of factors. But in the documentary, The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, shows Therese at 16 years old, and she looks more similar to Natalia at the time of the play date 10 years earlier. So there were discrepancies in, you know, Natalia looked significantly older for a child of the same condition of the same age. So the parents, Christine and Michael, they met a Ukrainian family and they arranged a play date to see if Natalia will, you know, find more in common with this child. And they're trying to sort of support her engaging with her roots and think it will offer some comfort. The woman enters and is speaking Ukrainian, and Natalia does not appear to understand.
And Natalia supposedly had grown up in Ukraine and only just moved over.
Yeah. And, well, not only just, she had been passed to New York, from what I listened to in an interview. She had been passed around several states before, but
in theory, she was a Ukrainian speaker.
Yeah. So the family's on the impression she was in a Ukrainian orphanage until the age of 5, and then in the USA for 1 year before they adopted her. And a major turning point happens now where the family is now suspicious and claim to see a cold shift in Natalia's personality. And they start to question her about lying, a lot of which is recorded. Okay, Co, I've got to go.
Well, then why don't we take a break?
Okay, let's take a break.
All right,
Okay,
see you on the flip side. Bye.
Okay. Love you, Co. Sorry.
Welcome back, part 2. Over to you. Tell the rest of the fucking story.
So after a few months of Natalia being with the Barnett family, her behavior issues escalate. And she would always sort of scramble to sit next to the youngest son, who is age 6, same as her. She would torment him and go to the toilet and smear feces on him. She would take favorite toys and throw them out into the middle of the road. And she allegedly said that she would throw their favorite toys into the road because she wanted them to die, that they'd run into the traffic. And then Christine finds a large knife under her bed, and Natalia tells them, "I was going to kill you in your sleep." And on another occasion, Michael wakes up and she's at the foot of the bed holding a knife with a blank expression on her face. So Michael says to her, "What are you doing?" Natalia says, "Nothing." And then Michael says, "Why are you in here?" Natalia says, "I don't know." Michael says, put down the knife, and she does. And then he says, "Go to your room," and she does. And he stays outside her room all night to keep the family safe from her. She also allegedly tried to stab family members.
Yeah, what does he do every other night, though?
Well, she would put transparent thumbtacks on the stairs for them to step on. And the Barnetts were reaching out for help to doctors, therapists, the adoption agency. And Michael was told by a therapist, "You are in extreme danger." And they were expecting a diagnosis of schizophrenia or something that she's not in control of, you know. But instead they were told she's a sociopath and apparently knows exactly what she's doing. So one day, Christine is at the sink doing dishes and Natalia offers to help. And Christine leaves the room for a moment, and when she returns, she picks up her coffee from the side and tastes chemicals. And Natalia had poured cleaning products into her coffee, attempting to poison her. So Michael describes her as doing as many things as possible to cause harm or hurt or mental distress. And they are advised by professionals that she should not have free reign of the house. They should put a latch on the outside of her door, and she should be escorted to the bathroom whenever needed.
I mean, that sounds intense. Like, I get it. And then also that sounds horrendous. I mean, how old is she at this point?
This is a few months after she arrived, so 6.
She's 6.
Yeah. Allegedly, all of this is alleged, remember? So they aren't able to do anything as a family. And the youngest son's birthday, for his birthday, they really wanted to make an effort to have a day out. And he loves cows. So they went to a place where
Wait, did you say cows?
Cows, yeah.
Yeah, I love cows.
I know, who doesn't? Who doesn't? I mean, I
You know what
prefer
I
goats,
love? Highland cows.
Oh yeah, they're a bit furrier, aren't they?
They're cute. They look like bears and cows.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyways, go on.
So they go to a place where you can visit cows and have a nice trail, like walk a nice trail. And they each have to sign a waiver because there is an electric fence on the property that could obviously cause serious injury. So as they head off on the trail, Natalia says she can't walk. Now, I'm going to add a little side story here. So Natalia, when they actually brought her home, they realized that her mobility issues and disabilities were more than the adoption agency had said, and that actually she had more trouble walking than they were told. And
Which
that
is totally unethical because they should prepare you.
Yeah,
so they want to have a long, sustainable relationship and make an adoption work. They should be open.
Yeah, so
But
Natalia,
I have suspicions about this adoption agency.
Yes, well, yeah, there's a lot of suspicions surrounding the whole thing. So
carry on. Sorry.
So Natalia asks to be carried everywhere. And so one day they went to the beach, and Natalia really wanted to go in the water. And she was sort of moaning about wanting to go in the water. And Christine sort of said, just wait a sec. And Natalia got so impatient that she just ran straight into the water. So they realized that her mobility issues weren't quite as accurate as they were led to believe by Natalia.
Wait, so was she more mobile or less mobile?
More than Natalia claimed. But Natalia was allegedly making it seem like her mobility issues were more serious, that she was more dependent than she potentially was. So as they head off on this cow trail, Natalia says she can't walk. And Christine stays with her while Michael continues with the boys, determined to give Ethan, the youngest son, a nice birthday out. And they hear shouting, and Michael turns back, and Natalia is trying to pull Christine down. She tells Michael to carry on. This behavior isn't unusual or especially alarming. So the boys keep going, and then they hear sirens and run back. And she had allegedly tried to throw Christine into the electric fence. The police and the ambulance are there, and Christine is screaming. And Natalia is screaming, and she shouts, "You fucking bitch, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. You bitch, you're going to die." So they try to have her arrested, and she ends up being sent to a psychiatric unit. So this is Natalia, the kid. When staff see her pubic hair and breasts, she's transferred to an adult wing. And she talks openly about wanting to harm the family and writes in her journal about killing them. She describes how she would stab the boys, her brothers, then bury them under the porch. Staff report that she makes them feel very uncomfortable and speaks a lot about sex. This escalates rapidly with reports of her propositioning male patients. Remember, there are grown men in the psychiatric care ward. And there are reports of her offering sexual favors in exchange for money. And so Michael and Christine are called to come and get her. So now fast forward 2 years.
Oh, these parents are trying so hard to get help for her.
Or are they?
Okay. It sounds like these parents are trying so hard at this point to get help for her.
Remember, it was until today that I didn't know where my stance was. Okay, so March 2012, 2 years after she is adopted, she is 8 years old. The neighbors call Child Protective Services, CPS, and they arrive with a police officer. The Barnetts had never actually called the police themselves, which is interesting. They never called the police themselves. And Michael's recollection of this visit is that the CPS officer is extremely concerned for the safety of their other 3 children. This person has access to her records and notes that she has not grown at all in 4 years, Natalia. He suggests that they have her age revised on the birth certificate, explaining that foreign-born adoptees often have inaccurate birth dates. Now, Michael's plan is to prove her birth certificate is fake. So they contact the adoption agency asking for more information and how to contact the birth parents. They are told that it is a closed adoption and no more details can be given, and they cannot be put in touch with previous adoptive family or foster families. So,
I mean, I'm sure they wouldn't put Natalia's new parents in touch with them directly, but they would have the details that they could.
Yeah, what does it mean when it's closed?
So an open adoption is when, say, you have a kid and you can't cope with them for whatever reason, you put them up for adoption. In an open adoption, you might still have the ability to visit them, for them to have contact with you. It could mean a bunch of things. It might mean that just when they turn 18, they get your details, they can contact you. Closed adoption is where like absolutely none of the details, for whatever reason, get passed on, will ever be relayed. Either, I mean, in this country, for example, in the UK, when the kid turns 18, they can ask for their birth parents' details. So it's very rare that it's a fully closed adoption, and it would be more like the parent is in prison for something awful, or something horrendous, or sometimes they just don't have the details, abandoned babies or whatever, which still sadly happens anyway. So yeah, they're saying basically a closed adoption, none of the details get passed on, but that doesn't mean the adoption agency wouldn't have the details, because of course they would.
I'm telling you what I'm telling you.
I know.
So Natalia is re-aged by the courts by testing her bone density. So this is calculated by assuming you stop growing at 18, and they have evidence she has not grown since 2005. So they estimate her age to be 22.
When she's pretending to be 8.
Yes, at this point she's allegedly 8, but they're saying that she's 22.
And now, how were they saying that her...
Can I fucking finish? What was your question? It might be good.
Were they going to say that her condition, her dwarfism, affected it?
I don't know. Let me tell you. Let me continue. So note, in Indiana, a parent is financially responsible for a dependent up until 21 years old. Interesting, huh?
Because they can have guns at like whatever age.
Yeah. So the family at this stage don't want Natalia to live in their house, but they want her to be safe. So Christine finds her an apartment. They give her some furniture and groceries and sign a lease. So they're moving her out at this stage.
So one minute they're treating her like an 8-year-old. The next minute they're getting her a lease on a flat?
Yes. So the apartment is on the second floor with steep steps in a high crime area where she knows nobody. She has no phone, no electricity, no adaptations in the home for her disability, and knocks on a neighbor's door to use the phone, but soon realizes she doesn't know any numbers to call. Then the Barnett family then make a move to Canada because their oldest son is offered a university place there at a prestigious institution. So they move.
So the whole family go?
The whole family goes and they leave her in Indiana. They go to Canada. It's a fucking weird story.
Even without this Natalia element, I find it weird that your kid goes to uni, so
and the whole family goes.
All move.
Yeah. So the neighbors report that Natalia was friendly and nice enough, but had poor hygiene, body odor, and wore dirty clothes. It was clear she wasn't able to take adequate care of herself, so they reached out to protective services. So a lady called Heather Wilson had assigned a case, and she had visited the Barnett household the previous year with Natalia as a child, and now was visiting her after being re-aged as an adult. So Natalia becomes increasingly obsessive and latches onto neighbors, watching out the window for people coming home so she could run outside or call them, calling them all the time, or even walking through the house uninvited and taking food. So they are hyper aware and cautious of her. They start to keep their kids away from her after she shows unhealthy interest in the young boys in the area. And there was an incident where Natalia calls 911 a number of times saying she is stalking her neighbor and she's worried what she might do, or saying she's going to start a fire. Now, when she's asked why she doesn't live with her parents, she says things like, I took a knife to them, I tried to poison them, I had to live in the garage for a while, and very casually mentions these instances. She talks about prostitution and propositions to tradesmen and older men in the apartment complex. Now, 2019. Authorities soon began investigating, and after about 5 years, prosecutors charged the Barnetts with neglect of a dependent, not neglect of a child. And I'm going to talk to you about who took over looking after her in a bit. But because she was re-aged by the court, they couldn't do them for neglect of a child. But because she was dependent because of her condition, they were charged with neglect of a dependent. And I'll talk more about those charges.
Even though she was older than 21.
Yeah, because she was dependent because of her condition. So the decision to prosecute the Barnetts prompted news coverage, sensational news coverage from across the world, and some portrayed the couple as overly selfish for discarding a possibly disturbed child, and others suggesting they were duped by an adult impersonating a minor. So appearing alongside the family who cared for her after the Barnetts left, Natalia went on Dr. Phil's talk show, and I watched that, very interesting, and rejected the idea that she scammed anyone. She accused the Barnetts of deserting her when she was 8, instructing her to tell people that she was older than she was and lying about her conduct. So they had told her, say that you did this, say that you did that. The couple who took Natalia in after she was left are called Anton and Cynthia Mans. They stand up for her in the 6-part series, saying she was a genuine, loving person and not at all the adult sociopath masquerading as a child that the Barnetts insist she was. Now, I'll talk more about the Dr. Phil, what I think about that later, but it's very interesting. It's on YouTube. There's like the 40-minute segment that she's on, and very, very interesting.
Links in the show notes.
Yeah. The Curious Case of Natalia Grace documentary is made in 2022. So Natalia has been living with the Mans family shortly after she was left in the apartment, and the Barnetts moved to Canada. So she was in the apartment on her own for about a month and a half, she says, before the Mans took her in. And Michael Barnett is very animated in the series and appears eager to be interviewed on camera. And the Barnetts at this stage are divorced, and he totally flips the scripts and proceeds to drag his former wife through the mud, Christine, at this stage. And he describes Christine making Natalia stand with her face against a wall for over 8 hours while she tried to get information out of her. So now Michael's accusing Christine of abuse
and neglect.
Yeah.
Funny how Christians are Christians until they want to get a divorce.
I mean, and their fucking behavior. So he describes Christine viciously beating Natalia on multiple occasions. He paints himself as a timid husband and suggests his wife could have been manipulating Natalia all along.
And again, this is hearsay from someone who's been divorced from this person. So
yeah. So back to 2019.
Because fuck knows what Adam's saying about me on his podcast.
So
about flashy cars and watches and ways to waste money that you don't have.
Oh God.
For example.
Yeah. What a fucking punk. So interview with forensic interviewer. In a 2019 interview with a forensic interviewer, Natalia makes conflicting statements. She says that they never physically disciplined her, then says Christine whooped her, then the boys, followed by Michael. The eldest son admits his mother instructed him to urinate on Natalia's bed as a punishment for soiling herself, or as a form of therapy so she would change her behavior. This year, U.S. officials locate and interview Natalia's birth mother, and a DNA test confirms she is the biological mother. She was born in 1979, and when Natalia was re-aged, her year of birth was changed from 2003 to 1989.
So she was born in 79.
So the mother was born in 79.
Okay.
And when Natalia was re-aged, then Natalia's age went from 2003 to 1989, so her mother would have been 10 when she birthed her.
I mean, not impossible, but highly unlikely.
Yeah. So Michael later questions the validity of the DNA test, and this is a crucial point because her true age determines whether they will be charged with child neglect or abandonment of a dependent. And
so wait, he's questioning the DNA test to
of the mother, that's actually the mother, and that she was born mother. Yeah, because obviously the fact that she would have been 10 years old makes Natalia's new age seem impossible. Yeah. So
wait 1 second, I just need to close the door because Lola opened the door and it's freezing. Sorry. Lola, come in. Lola. Lola. Come in. Go to work. Freezing. No. I did not know that she knows how to open the door on her own. That's annoying. All right.
So,
okay, go.
When Michael's court case comes around, there's a huge amount of information that was excluded. So no mention of age was allowed in questioning. So jurors believed her birth year to be 1989. So, and as that is what Natalia must legally state when she first identifies herself in court. So obviously, if you're talking about this sort of behavior about a child, it's very different to talking about this sort of behavior as an adult. Now, also, this is someone who's been passed around 30 different homes before the age of 6. God knows what she could have experienced in those homes, you know? I haven't read anything about that, but I can imagine it wasn't always pleasant. The jury,
even if she was in 30 lovely homes, being
still
passed around 30 homes is
that
still
amount, that amount of abandonment before you're even
and
sick.
change and whatever. And let's be honest, chances are she was not staying in 30 lovely homes.
Yeah. And the other thing is also her needs were so high, you know, her disability needs, that I cannot imagine that all 30 of those family had adapted homes and, you know, everything that they needed, all the resources they needed to be able to adequately look after her. So the
she must have been in a place for 5 minutes and then had to move. Like, oh,
yeah, I mean, exactly. Months. If she was in 30 homes before the age of 6, she wouldn't have been in one place for a year, you know?
No.
So the jury have since expressed that they felt she was guilty of abandonment, but that given the guidelines in place, they had to say not guilty. Christine was tried separately, and Michael was testified against her.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. So,
that they were tried separately, I mean.
Yeah, so Michael was found not guilty of 3 counts of neglect and conspiracy to commit neglect of a dependent in 2022. In March of 2023, charges against Christine in connection with the abandonment of Natalia were dropped. So neither actually faced any consequences. So Christine, when she was asked for a comment for the documentary, she simply responded, "Your network is whack." It comes to light that she has had, Christine is an interesting character, affairs, she's had affairs. So it's alleged that Michael had a lot of mental health issues, which we don't judge for, especially if all of this were to be true. I can imagine this whole scenario would cause mental health issues. Christine is alleged to have been, to have had affairs. And there was a lot of material from her Facebook showing her engaging in sexual conversation and sharing photos. One of the men she's messaging is a guy called Freddie Gill, who's a country musician with dwarfism. They exchange messages of a sexual nature, and she appears to be messaging him relentlessly. And in 2012, Christine offers to set him up for a night with Natalia. Yeah.
Ew, this is Tall Hot Blonde vibes.
Yes. This story is arguably...
with some Gypsy Rose in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not clear if this is before or after Natalia is re-aged, that she offers this guy a night with Natalia, but she says she thought, but he says the thought of it makes him feel sick. And he said guys who do shit like that should have their balls chopped off. So, which would suggest that he and Christine are still discussing Natalia as a child. He adds,
oh, so she's flirting with this guy.
Yeah.
And then offers her daughter up.
Yes, I don't know what the fuck her motivation is or what sort of sick fantasy this is. And he adds that he was told that Michael and Natalia had a sexual relationship. By Christine. Christine says
that may or may not be true.
But
but that it's even being fucking discussed is fucked up in this.
Yeah. So the case.
Hang on, I need another fucking drink. Hang on. Jesus Christ. Okay.
So the case against Christine was thrown out of court in March 2023 due to lack of evidence. Now.
That's fucking recent.
Yeah. So now we're in 2023. And the second season of The Curious Case of Natalia Grace is titled Natalia Speaks. She seems to want to know just as much as everyone else about who she is and where she came from. And because the puzzle of her life is mostly missing pieces. And she, at this stage, she appears visibly older than the photos of her and the footage of her when she was 6 to 8 years old. I mean, when I saw the pictures and footage of her, do you want me to show you?
Yeah, let me give you.
So she looks like a child to me when she's 6 to 8, regardless of her
When she's supposedly 6 to 8 years old.
Yeah. And she looks considerably older, as in matured, not having, I don't mean like older as in aged, like how we age in middle age, but she looks like she's gone from a child to a teenager.
Yeah.
So hold on one sec. Let me show you her at age 6.
Had my nails did today, chrome.
Nice. I like chrome effect, like candy apple.
Hmm.
Okay, so can you see my screen?
You haven't shared it, so no.
Okay, so can you see now?
Yeah.
This is her as a child. This is her as a teenager. I mean, you can
The
see.
left is when she's supposedly 6 to 8 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
And the one on the right is when she's
Supposed to be in her 20s.
And what is the difference in years between those photos?
About 10 years.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, look at her here.
Yeah.
And then
You know,
here.
the curly hair makes her look younger than this.
True. That's true. That's true. Okay, so by the time we're in 2023, she's been part of the man's family for over 10 years at that point. And I think they have 5 or 6 kids. And they describe her in the Dr. Phil interview as being a really loving older sister, really taking care of the other siblings. Since the trial against Michael was concluded and more of her medical history can be accessed, and since the trial against Michael was concluded, more of her medical history can be accessed and discussed. And records from 2010 show an endocrinologist aging her at around 9 to 11, which isn't that far off of what her age was allegedly at that time, you know. The adoption was in fact not closed. The Barnetts had met with the previous adoptive family and emailed back and forth. A lot of the alarming facts about Natalia may well be revisionist history. And the incident on the first night where they see her pubic hair didn't in itself trigger any action and is only raised years later as the initial shocking moment that caused them to question her. So they're kind of sort of rewriting history a little bit.
Yeah, because I think you would be like calling the next day and being like, look, we just have some questions after our first night together.
Now also, I don't know how weird it necessarily is for, her condition's 35 people in the whole world.
Yeah.
I don't know what that does to your development, her condition.
I can't imagine they have, 35 people in the whole world is not a big enough sample to have any conclusive anything, really.
Yeah.
So it would just be a case of like, well, this hasn't happened in the other 34 cases, but
yeah, so
maybe.
a lot of the hold on. Natalia questions why they even wanted to adopt her, as she never felt welcome or saw any affection at all. Prior to being placed with the Barnetts, she had periods of being placed with over 30 different families, as we said, and one of the families had multiple visits with her across several months and show pictures of her with missing front teeth and with her new teeth coming in, as you would expect with a growing child. Dentist she saw in 2011 said she looked like a 7-year-old but talks like she's older. Now, this was mentioned in quite a few different sources, that she was very mature, she spoke like she was much older, but again, a child, you know how sometimes like only children are very mature because they spend and
they spend most of their time talking to other adults, so they talk,
and she would have had to in a lot of ways, I'm sure her maturity level was stunted because of not having the emotional nurturing, but in a lot of other ways, I can imagine she grew up faster than most because of the hardships. X-rays show 12 baby teeth remaining, which it fits an age range of 6 to 9. So this was, just a year after she was adopted, which puts her in the age range that she was, saying she was. And now 2023 DNA testing shows her age to be 22, or around 22, when she believes at this stage that she's 20. So there is evidence, medical evidence, that supports her claim, which confirms the timeline to be as follows. So this is what the DNA test from last year shows. 2003, Natalia is born September 4th in Ukraine. 2008, arrives in the US, aged 4, almost 5. Her mother apparently gave her up when she was 1 month old. 2010, adopted by the Barnetts, aged 6 or 7. 2012, change of age petition is filed when she's 8. 2013, first apartment she lives in by herself, age 9. And then she's moved same year to second apartment where she's completely abandoned, and they moved to Canada, age 9, nearly 10. Can you imagine a child living on her own?
That's her genuine age.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Actually 9.
Can you imagine any child being left even for the day alone, let alone overnight, having to make food for themselves
You wouldn't leave the kid alone for like a fucking hour.
Yeah, also being able to access cupboards in the kitchen,
Well, like you said, then the neighbors were concerned because she had poor hygiene, whatever. Of course she is. She's 9.
And going into their house to look for food, So apparently the Barnetts did get the landlord to sort of take her grocery shopping or bring her groceries, but that's not the same.
Not enough?
Yeah. So basically, after doing this research, like, I read sources first, then I listened to 2 podcasts which had differing points of view and they both came out before the TV documentary series came out. Then I watched Dr. Phil, and it was actually watching the Dr. Phil.
I'm laughing because it's Dr. Phil, but they actually
I know,
were
Dr.
on it.
Phil, fucking hell. Is he even a real doctor? I mean, I wouldn't go see him.
I need to Google this. Hang on. I
think he is a real doctor. I think I've Googled that.
Is he like a doctor of musicology or something?
No, I mean, I think he's an actual medical doctor, which worries me a little bit because I shouldn't be judgy, but he sounds like a hillbilly. I wouldn't necessarily trust.
He's got a doctorate in clinical psychology.
Oh,
so he ceased renewing his license to practice in 2006.
So, yeah. So when I watched that interview, it completely...
you don't want me to read controversies and lawsuits?
Oh, tell me.
Oh, it's actually really fucking long. Sorry, I'm just on the Wikipedia. It's really long. Basically, there's a lot. There's a lot of controversy. A lot of controversy. Oh, he was criticized for an interview with Shelley Duvall. Oh yeah, I remember. All right, sorry, go on.
So when I watched that interview, and you can watch the full 40 minutes on YouTube, it changed my mind. Like, obviously we've got the evidence here that DNA testing shows her to be the age that she claimed. But when you see the interview, you just think, you feel so bad for that girl. She seems level-headed, reasonable, kind, sweet, not what the Barnetts alleged, which makes me think that all of that they adopted her to abuse her is all I can draw from that.
I was going to say, so that's their motivation. What is the relationship with the other kids? Do we know?
No.
Was it just her that faced abuse? Allegedly?
Well, yeah. Well, one of the claims was that Christine would also, as I mentioned, that she would also abuse them. But again, all of this is from Michael's perspective. So post-divorce.
Mm-hmm.
So, since they never involved the police, it's all hearsay. And, Natalia saying they never showed her any love. Christine saying...
There must be records of them trying to get her to psychologists and counseling and all this, that, and the other.
There are records of that, yeah, but not what actually had happened in the family home, you
Mm.
know. Also, she claims that they told her what to say, you know. They manipulated her into saying what to say, you know. So for example,
Did Michael say that the knife incident, for example, her standing at the end of the bed with a knife, did he ever say whether or not that actually happened, or?
Well, that was in the documentary, the 6-part documentary, apparently.
Mm.
So, and now we have Michael turning against Christine. So it really is so much hearsay. But all I can say is watching Dr. Phil, hearing the man's couple, the man's family talk about her, seeing the pictures of her with a family, looking after her new siblings, it paints a very different picture. So had I not watched that, had I just listened to the podcast episodes that were quite damning about Natalia, some saying, feeling really sorry for the Barnetts for getting divorced because of the stress of all this, regardless of the fact that Christine was having affairs and, whatever else. It also was shocking because I thought, God, how easy is it to convince somebody of somebody's guilt? Because I changed my mind several times listening to different sources.
Sometimes it's just whoever speaks the loudest, isn't it?
Yeah, or what you listened, if I hadn't have listened to differing views or read different sources or even, speaking to Jamie and getting her take on it, had I just read one source, that would have been my opinion.
So it sounds like the science is leaning towards.
I don't think there's any question that her age that she claimed to be is correct.
Yeah.
I think the claiming to be older is fabricated by
the Barnetts.
So I don't think there's any doubt that Natalia's age is what she says that it is. I mean, there is medical evidence to suggest that, to support that.
We have the dentist, endocrinologist, I'm probably saying that wrong. Obviously, the records, her birth certificate or whatever. The DNA test that confirms that her mother is her birth mother is her birth mother, but that would place that birth mother at age 10 when she had birth, So yeah, I mean, for me, that's enough to be like.
Yeah, and it's crazy, isn't it? Because hearing the first part, and that's why I was trying to not convey my stance, is that when you hear the first part and the alleged torture that Natalia sort of exposed them to or inflicted upon them, you think, fucking hell, that sounds crazy. Then when you actually watch the Dr. Phil episode, she explains, I had read at first that she goes on the show and explains away each one of those incidents, and I thought, okay, that can't be convincing, because you either throw someone into an electric fence or you don't. You either put bleach in their coffee or you don't, But actually, she's pretty convincing.
How did she explain those?
So that she was cleaning, well, that she was spraying, that it wasn't bleach, that she was cleaning the surfaces. Christine's coffee was there, but that she'd actually moved Christine's coffee to spray around it. And Christine came back and accused her of putting bleach in her drink.
At this point, she's 6.
Yeah. So
6-year-olds are clumsy.
Yeah. So actually, her explanations were either that they had fabricated it or had a very legitimate explanation. Yeah. And when you watch it, it's actually heartbreaking because you're seeing a disabled young person talking about how
they lived and abuse.
Yes. So it's just crazy. It's crazy. I don't know if this is something to do with the US justice system, that people like Michael and Christine can get away with, awful things. I don't know, but I would really urge anyone interested in this, obviously watch the 6-part series, which sadly I couldn't because I don't have access to it. I think it's Discovery or Paramount Channel. Can't remember what Jamie said.
Whatever. The network is whack, according to Christine. Yeah. Whichever one is more whack, it's on that one.
I mean, if somebody says the network is whack, using that terminology, I already don't have much trust in.
No. Considering she must be in her 40s or 50s.
It's like when Whitney Houston said crack is whack. Well, she was on crack. Do you remember?
I don't think you need to whisper. I think we all know.
Yeah, I just didn't want to say that about somebody who was
you know what? I was thinking about Whitney Houston today because I don't like it's called Smart Shuffle on Spotify, where you're listening to a playlist and it throws in just randomly occasionally a song that they think that you'll like. And I'm like, how the fuck are you picking this shit? Because my playlists are schizophrenic, you know, anyways. So how are you be like, oh, this person that listens to all this crazy shit will probably like this stuff. But it threw in fucking Bobby Brown, My Prerogative, and I was like, I don't want to listen to this guy.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Spotify.
That reminds me, we have a really good joint Spotify playlist called Switchblade Sisters.
We do.
Where the fuck did it go?
We'll put a link in the show list.
Oh my God. Do you know what?
I listen to it all the time.
Can we share it with people?
Yeah, I'll put a link in the show.
Yes.
And if anyone, look how blue my tongue is from M&Ms. If anyone has any suggestions to go on it, we'll fucking take suggestions. We'll veto any that we don't want.
D, let's share it because we put effort and thought into this playlist.
It's such a good playlist.
It is. We'll stick it on Amazon. Amazon. We'll stick it on Instagram stories too.
Yeah.
If you want to revisit the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
And even a little bit of the noughties, huh? For some reason, we've got garage up in there, which we never listened to at the time, but somehow it's nostalgic.
Yeah, and also, I don't know, there's rarely a time where I don't want to listen to some UK garage from the 90s and the noughties.
Because you got 21 seconds to go.
We got 21 seconds. Anyways, on that note.
Hold on, my fucking sources. You always want me to talk about my sources.
Well, I tell you to send me the sources to put in the show notes. You're the one that insists on reading the long list. Go on.
The sources. My sources is Jamie.
Jamie. That's the only source you need.
That's it. Then The Guardian. A family favorite. DiscoveryPlus.com, that's the channel. Wikipedia of Women in Crime podcast, Criminal Justice Corner podcast, Dr. Phil. I do not recommend Criminal Justice Corner podcast. What the fuck I was listening to, I don't know. They make us sound high-end production. And Women in Crime is interesting. They're both criminologists.
Nice.
Do they have a sense of humor? No, but they're criminologists. They do know what they're talking about.
Do they have qualifications and skills? Yes, but do they make you laugh? That's why you come to the Switchblade Sisters.
So that's the fucking story. And honestly, I feel ashamed myself, you know, for, I want to say being gullible. Because I'm always like, oh, people don't question mainstream media. They believe what they see. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but we do know how the media is biased and doesn't show.
A Palestinian. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But then I was ashamed because I watched and read and listened to a few things that were, let's say, anti-Natalia. And I was like, fuck, that's some fucked up shit. Yeah, I wouldn't want her in my house. Then you read the other stuff and you're like, whoa, this poor kid. So it actually highlighted and emphasized the importance of balance and balanced perspectives and not taking, I don't know, what am I trying to say?
Yeah, so I want to, you know, I was having this conversation with someone today, again, with the, about Israel-Palestine and the recent escalation in Gaza and about how the media so subtly influences your opinion.
Just with wording, subtle wording about how people die, like, for example, rather than being killed. Yeah.
Exactly. Palestinians are killed in this crisis. Israelis are murdered. You have Israeli hostages, whereas you have Palestinian prisoners that are released. All of these things,
Can I just say also on the hostage issue, we don't condone any hostage taking, but Palestinians in prison without charge, if that isn't being held hostage, I don't know what the fuck is. And there are thousands.
Exactly. And for years on end.
Yeah.
For years on end.
And we're talking 30 years, some.
Yeah, exactly. So so that's just subtle examples of how they, and I was telling this person, I was like, what I recommend is whenever you read anything like that, to read it like, imagine if they were using that wording on an English person, whether you'd be offended or not. Whether you'd be like, hang on a minute, they weren't just killed, like, you know, it was a brutal slaying or whatever. Or, you know, hang on a minute, that's not exactly factual. Yes, they were kept in a prison, but unlawfully so. So they're not really like a prisoner, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are just examples of like subtle wording choices that influence people's whole mentality. And then if the media are on this like campaign to take sides in this scandalous story, they just...
Because really, some accounts that I read and listened to presented only some facts.
Yeah.
You know?
Confirmation bias, the ones that prove the point. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were discussing what or hearsay, do you know what I mean? What the Barnetts had alleged had happened, whereas other sources were quoting actual medical evidence, and
let's go with those ones.
It made me
Which
realize...
one was Dr. Phil using? Well, yeah, he was actually interviewing the people, so he probably did the best.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I have to say, in this front, I can't criticize him too much in that regard, but it honestly made me realize I criticize, especially as a copy editor, I'm aware of these things, and I criticize other people for being so gullible and not, looking for evidence, not, doing wider reading. And I could easily have recorded this episode with a very one-sided, although I do have a one-sided view, I'm pro Natalia, but I could have easily come with another view had I not done enough research.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck, so anyway, so I highlighted 2 or 3 books per episode.
Yeah, we need to, does LimeWire still exist? We need to download that series, because
that was fucking intense. Maybe we did a free trial.
So what do you think? What do you think? It doesn't always have to be murder, huh? To be fucking wild.
That's shocking, because if it's true that she was the age that it was stated that she was, basically that she was a child when all this happened, then that is one of the most horrendous stories of child abuse and neglect.
Yeah, and a disabled child at the age of 9, living alone for a month and a half with no accommodations,
for her disability, let alone her age, like an adult, know. Oh no, but we got the landlord bringing her groceries. That's not fucking childcare.
And the other crazy thing, which we've talked about a lot, is how people in the States especially seem to get away with fucking crazy shit. How were these charges dropped?
I'm gonna be fucking wondering about this case for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I do need to. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna follow it up, season 3, because
set a Google alert. That's what I do with all my cases. In case there's updates. Then we can tell our sexy listeners.
It's like the Jinx, and oh God, so many of the cases, they cannot.
We need to rename this podcast "Rich White People Getting Away with Shit."
Oh God, yeah, true, huh? Yeah, because this was exactly that. This family, yeah, but yeah, I think it needs further exploration, because this is all quite recent,
Yeah, and there's going to be follow-up, I'm sure.
Yeah, and we need to watch the documentary.
We do. Do you know what we do actually need, though?
What?
People's Pulse.
Oh, okay. Let's do the music.
Last of the season, and you told me don't look at the answers, because they're going to make you cry.
Okay, so the People's Pulse. Now, the People's Pulse is my responsibility, and I take it very seriously. And every week I think of a new topic. Thank you very much.
Oh, you think of a new topic, do you?
Well, okay, with some conference. And this time I thought, okay, I didn't ask this question out of conceitedness, but I was genuinely curious, as a form of market research, what were people's best bits and best cases? Because first season, I think almost every case was murder. Right?
Or at least attempted, because we had Amy Fisher, remember, where no one actually died, but it was an attempted murder.
Yeah, this season, I personally tried to deviate a little bit, because since I'm interested in the psychology side and the crazy shit and the crazy things people do and why, I wanted to look into some other crimes, like fraud and...
I mainly stuck to murder, but I already know some of the cases I'm doing for season 3, and they're bonkers.
Okay, so I'm still at the deliberation phase for what I'm going to cover in season 3. So this People's Pulse question was...
We will help influence season 3,
yes,
for sure.
Exactly. We want to give the people what they want. That is what we're here for. So what I must say is that I've now taken to looking at the People's Pulse responses in real time as we're recording, because I quite like to read it I like it to be a surprise. You need to
It
get my
is
reaction.
it's nice for me when it's a surprise, and this way it's a surprise for you too.
Yeah, but I did look briefly yesterday at a message we got from our dear Karen in the States. And
Oh,
Karen is a lovely lady. And I have, Deanna's often accused me in my life of being dead inside. And it's not because I lack empathy.
no,
It's
definitely
because,
not.
why is it then?
You have a lower tolerance for bullshit.
Oh, okay. What's bullshit?
Like,
People.
yeah, people. Lower
Okay.
tolerance of people. Um, and yeah,
Oh, that's it? That's it? That's the basis? Oh, okay, okay.
I think so. You're putting me on the spot here. Yeah, lower tolerance for people's crap.
I thought it
Whereas
was,
I'm always like, oh, but it's a gray
yeah.
area, blah blah blah. And you're
I
like,
thought
nope,
it's,
they're being a dick.
yeah, I thought it was because I had a narrower emotional range.
Maybe that too. It can be both.
So, but Karen's message, and I don't have PMS. Karen's message, tears came out of my eyes. They actually did. I was lying next to Che trying to get him to sleep last night. I read Karen's message, and like when I cry, I don't bawl. So it's weird when I cry, and I don't do it in front of people. It's very
No, I know, because
awkward.
remember we were talking and I said like I've seen you cry only a handful of times as an
Yeah,
adult.
it's very weird when I cry.
Like how you said a few episodes ago that you had anxiety over like what if Dee can't do something or find out
Yeah,
something for
yeah,
me. For
yeah.
me, you crying is very similar in that it happens so rarely that I'm just like
Because I
the
don't
world is a
enjoy
bad
it.
place.
I don't enjoy
Oh.
it. No, some people like to have that release. For me, I feel worse, you know? I like
Yeah.
to power through, stiff upper lip. That's probably the only Britishness that I've picked up in 30 odd years. But
Let's be honest, you're more likely to get angry about a situation. I'm more
fucking
likely to
angry.
get sad about
Oh
a situation.
gosh, angry.
Because
Yeah.
for years, you've accused me of being like emotional, and I've
Yeah.
explained to you, you're also emotional. You just go to a different emotion. You go to fucking rage.
You know what still makes me laugh? I was thinking about this today. That guy, that 3 a.m. drunk guy that abused us online, the other crime podcaster.
Oh,
And you know
yeah.
what makes me laugh is when you said, just promise me you'll go on the school run first before you reply. Because you wanted me to calm down before I sent him my rage. And yeah, rage.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
So
not very
tell us,
often. It's not very often that I get rageful either, but
well,
when I
that'll be the
do,
drugs that we're on.
yeah, maybe.
Thank you, sertraline and citalopram.
Thank
Brought to
you.
you by, hey, if you guys want to sponsor
Big
us.
Pharma.
Yeah, big pharma. We're not too proud. So tell us what Karen says.
Oh God, okay, God, oh my God. So yeah, Karen, I just want
Because
to
I
stress
am
to you.
PMSing, so I'm just prepared. Oh, I should get
Karen, what
tissues.
happened was like tears came out of my eyes like this, and then yes, that was crying, wasn't it?
That is called, that is crying. Yes, well
Yeah.
done.
So she says this. Oh God. Oh. Okay, this one is hard. She said, "Hi, girlies," and then she says, "This one is hard." Deanna, please don't cry. I loved all the stories. My favorite part. Rhonda
I'm
getting
already.
no, don't for fuck's sake. Rhonda getting so grossed out and upset. But it is a true crime podcast. Love that. Some pods are so matter of fact about it. I love that when I'm cringing or feeling bad for the kids, so are you because you tell us. Love your dad's stories, especially about taking the free stuff. Now, I fucking love you, Karen, for this because we have been told off multiple times by Papa Safier about there's even an embargo on us mentioning his name on this podcast.
Which we've ignored because that episode I made a teaser of it and I accidentally sent it to the family group instead of my sister only.
Yeah.
And then I had to pretend, oh, I was just sending her the bits that we've cut out because we're not using them.
Because that's a good use of our time. And but you know what? He's such a funny one because he's so proud of us doing this podcast, but also It does not want to feature. And then Karen says,
or listen.
yeah. So Karen says that's so like her mom. And then she says, also love when you say cuckoo bananas, D.
Cuckoo bananas.
People's Pulse, so fun, even when I have nothing to add. Love the listen. Also, I like that your cases are solved. Yep. Oh, I posted a meme today on our socials about how unsolved cases are like the equivalent of blue balls.
Yeah.
So then Karen says lots of other pods are about unsolved, and I get it, bring new light to cases, but yeah, every one of them unsolved makes her frustrated. And then she says sister interactions are the best. You two are adorable and clearly love each other and have each other's backs. Love you, 4 hearts. Don't fucking cry, please. Don't cry. Then she says, oh my, I can't stop. Present cases I never heard of. Love, like Angel Maker of Nagirev and others. Calling out the stuff that the cops did wrong but aren't whining about it. Calling out what they do right also. And she says Colin Sutton, and then with the smiley face that has hearts. Colin Sutton is true crime
royalty.
Yeah, but also he's the hunk of the true crime world. And I hope to God that Mrs. Sutton knows how lucky she is.
I'm sure she does. By the way, I just want to give a shout out. He's actually going on quite a big tour this year. So there's loads of dates around the UK, and including in New York, which will coincide with an event he's planning at Criminally Good Books.
Oh, in Isla's bookshop. Oh my God.
And I will be there.
Oh my God.
So come along.
He's like the human teddy bear, isn't he? The cutest.
And also we still have Colin Sutton fan club merch up on our website, donations to victim support. All of the profits from those items go to victim support. So
then Karen says, getting caught up on last few episodes. She says she also hates mornings. Yes, Karen. Oh my God, you're either a morning person or you're not. Best thing is that no one talks to me. Kids are grown, so now only have to get myself ready, but still, I get it.
same.
I don't even like to deal with myself in the
I
morning.
don't even have kids. Look, I'm wearing fucking PJs. It's Friday night.
Oh, Karen, that made me.
Karen.
Yeah. Do you know what it was that made me cry? You two are
Sister
adorable
interaction.
and clearly love each other and have each other's back. Oh my God, I could almost cry. I'm not gonna, but that got me. That got me here, Karen.
I would literally kill a man for you. I shouldn't record that. Yeah. I'll cut it out.
Then Susie.
Susie.
I've loved listening to all of them. Favorite ones have to be the soap maker and Sonny Bean. So the old ones. So Susie, you like the old ones. Okay.
Interesting.
Noted. Love the ones with Sir Colin Sutton and Cherry. Yes.
Cherry. Yes, we loved our interview with our podcast episode with Cherry.
She's a good girl. And also sobbed like a baby to the Julie Hogg and Dorothy Stratton cases. Yeah, Julie Hogg, that one hurt.
That one was a hard one. Yeah. Yep.
And honestly, this is the most perfect podcast I listen to. Love you, ladies. My heart. I wish you could see Dee's face. Oh God, I could cry. Okay. Suck it up and walk it off. Susie.
Whoa.
I know.
Susie, we love you. You were the perfect listener.
Yeah. I mean, Susie, we do this really for you guys. Because
and Susie's coming to CrimeCon, so we get to meet her soon. Not soon enough, but soon.
Now we have. Can I finish? What were you going to say?
I was going to say, you told me that because I think I said to you, no one said anything bad, did they? And you were like,
Oh, someone say something bad?
I don't know. I thought you meant, I misread. Oh, because I think everyone hates me all the time. I thought.
It's funny because you know what I thought today? I thought, I wonder if like they have one of us that they can't stand. It's not going to be you. You know how like when I listen to whenever there's like a double act, there's always one that's better. It's you. I'm okay with that. But you know how you're always like
well, it's like my favorite murder. They have I'm a Georgia, I'm a Karen. Tell us, that should be your next People's Pulse. Are you a Rhonda or are you Deanna?
Or are you an Ashley or are you a Brit?
Yeah.
Now we know who's who in this operation. And I'm okay with it.
Okay, great. What's the next answer?
Okay, so our lovely Jane. Jane, we love
Love
that
you.
we love that you're in our world. Honestly,
Hmm.
I truly fucking mean it. That when we're recording, I feel like we have them here sitting around us,
I can't
chilling with
wait
us.
to make season 3 for Jane.
Jane, be
Susie, our
lovely.
Karens.
So, season 2 is about a few things for me. Okay. Okay. So, first, catching up to real time after discovering your podcast and devouring every episode. Well done for
Oh my God, a
tolerating.
binger, a binger.
I she deserves an award for tolerating us.
How many hours do you think she managed in a day
Oh
before she was
God.
like, I need a break now?
I can't even live with myself for 24 hours.
The
So
sound of our
secondly,
voices, Jesus.
listen to Colin Sutton discussing the Delroy Grant case. Yeah.
Oh, that was a good
Hopefully,
one.
hopefully going to get tickets for his show in Grays. Exciting.
Nice.
Also, the fertility scandal. What a horrific thought at your most vulnerable being given a glimpse of hope for a child, then being violated like that.
Yeah.
Then Brazilian Dexter. And she makes a very
Oh,
interesting point. She says, made me contemplate my moral compass. True, huh?
nice. Yeah, yeah, because that one
Yeah,
was an interesting one because you can't help but like him a little
I
bit.
know,
But
huh?
he's a serial killer, but he only kills bad guys.
Yeah, he's like the Robin Hood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one was a really interesting case, I thought.
Yeah. Then superb series. I talk out loud when listening, tell everyone about it, and love every episode. You know what we're gonna do, Dee?
Could
We're gonna
fucking marry
leave.
her.
We're gonna leave Jane a voice note.
Oh my God, should we do it now?
Yeah, let's do it now.
Okay.
Can she hear you?
Oh wait, I'm in your ears. You're gonna have to unplug me.
Okay, okay, let's do that.
Okay, can you hear me coming out of your laptop?
Yeah, can. Okay. I'm pressing
Okay,
it.
cool.
Hi, Jane. Say hi.
Hi, Jen. We're recording the podcast live, and we just read out your message, and we loved it so much that
We
we
are
wanted to
live
say
on
hi.
air, and we just wanted to profess our fucking love for you. You are magnificent. You are. Let's record that again.
Okay, but I'm leaving it in the podcast. Okay, go.
Okay. Hi, Jane. This is attempt number 2, but we just wanted to leave you a message. You are live on air. Dee, say hi.
Hi. We just read out your message, and we loved it so much, so we wanted to send you a voice note.
We love you. We're grateful for you. We appreciate you, and we can't fucking wait to meet you. Love you. Mwah!
Bye. Oh my God.
And then
you have to tell me if she replies before the end of the recording.
okay, cool. Then we'll play it on air.
Yeah.
Shit.
Just assume if any interaction with us might be on air. It's
Yeah. People are
safer
gonna
for
start
you.
contacting us, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, then we got
Or they're gonna contact us with very well phrased texts all of a sudden.
so then we got our Coventry Karen.
Coventry Karen.
So she says all of it. I have loved how your second season has a lot more engagement with your listeners. Oh, the people
Because we have more listeners.
She said the people's talk is brilliant. Oh my God, I love that. Okay, cool. Love. Also, how am I going to cope when you go on your season break? Don't you worry about nothing. We got stuff for you. Don't you worry about nothing.
That's the backlog finished though, so we can't take any more season breaks after this ever.
Okay, so then guess which case was Karen's favorite? She says, my fave case has been the Brazilian Dexter this season. I love the little fun fact, like he was on YouTube, his cooking show. Remember? People like him, huh?
Yeah.
He's an endearing little criminal.
Yeah.
And then we have Fave Sam.
Our favorite Sam.
Okay, oh my God.
Yeah, wait, I want to just say that he's launched his shop now officially.
Yes!
And my order arrived today, and I wish I was still wearing it, but I changed into my sexy pajamas, Care Bear pajamas. But I ordered from him because I just thought it was fucking hilarious, and there's no way anyone else is going to have anything like this. He's done an amazing portrait of Jackie Brown, Pam Grier. And did you ever watch the film?
Yeah.
All right, she's fucking badass, right? In the film. His portrait of her is amazing. You can get all of his different portraits on lots of different things like notebooks and prints for the wall. And you know, phone cases, all of that kind of stuff. But the Jackie Brown one, you could get on a skirt.
Deanna, we're gonna post that picture of you on socials.
You can't, yeah. Because
it's gonna be on socials, and everyone's gonna want a Jackie Brown mini skirt. It is legendary.
It's fucking awesome.
And you know what I'm doing this weekend? I'm gonna pick out wall art. Lazy Mule wall art.
Yeah.
How fucking cool is it to have a bit of art on your wall done by somebody you know?
So cool.
So that's what I'm gonna do
on my wall.
I'm gonna go shopping this weekend.
Cool.
On
good.
What's the website?
Lazy Mule Art. No, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Find him on Instagram. Lazy. Yeah, it's in the show notes. Look on Instagram, Lazy Mule Art. He's got a link to his bio. It's a Redbubble shop, so I can't remember the full fucking thing.
So this is what Fave Sam says.
Yeah, tell us.
Late to the party. Hard to pick because they're all amazing, but I think my fave episode was episode 1. WM3. What's that? Oh, Westminster 3. Oh,
that was a good one. That was fucking intense. I started that season hard.
Woo. Always known about the case, but didn't know the ins and outs. And you guys did it so well. Well, Dee did. I was listening. Either that, or any of the People's Pulse segments. Always hilarious. Thanks for making me smile. And then he says, your face. Sam, you are a beautiful man. You are a fucking beautiful man. You are a fucking beautiful man. And oh
yeah, we love you, Faith Fam.
So hold on. That's it for today. Everyone else hates us. But the ones who love us.
I can't even answer this question because everything has been so fucking amazing.
Do you know what? I feel like season 1 we were more buttoned up because we didn't have People's Pulse. We tried to do some investigative journalism season 1.
And then we realized where our strong suits were, and it was
remembered who we were.
And then we were our authentic selves. I started drinking during recording.
And also, I'll tell you one of my favorite bits, actually. How you gag when you tell a story. Like, sorry, babe, the amount of times you gag. You're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Literally throw up in my mouth and have to swallow it back down again because I don't want to interrupt
That's probably one of my favorite bits. And the People's Pulse.
Mine is how you're always shocked that I'm telling you a fucking horrible story when we have a true crime podcast. You're always like, oh, don't. It's like, sorry, what did you think I was going to tell you?
Because you're that person who it was like, oh, I just saw something really sad. Do you want me to tell? No, I don't want you to fucking tell me. Some old lady fell over. Don't fucking tell me. Do you know what I mean? It's the same fucking thing. And I'm always hoping, oh, it's gonna be fraud. Today it's just gonna be fraud.
Oh, well, maybe I'll make your day. And yeah, but if I came to you imagine if I came to you with a tax fraud case.
If it was wild, I'll take it.
All right, I'll see what I can do. I'll try to mix it up a bit.
So my favorite things were you gagging. It makes me laugh. What else? And I have to say, my responsibility, the People's Pulse.
People's Pulse is legendary.
And I'll tell you why. It has brought us closer. It has brought us friends. Is what it's done. Like everybody we interact with, I fucking love them, and I consider them friends, and we are. Dee is gonna organize some sort of piss up somewhere central where
we need to do that.
A mutually inconvenient place for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. During the day, because you have to be home by a certain time. I'm just looking at our list of episodes because it feels like a blur. Like I honestly genuinely can't believe.
I don't even remember what I did last week or 2 weeks ago.
Do you know what I mean? We had West Memphis 3, Israel Keys, Brazilian Dexter, Killer Midwives, The Angel Makers, Delroy Grant with Colin Sutton. Remember, I told him that we were recording a Delroy Grant episode, and he said, "Do you want me to come on and talk about it?" And we were like, "Yes." Then we had Camden Ripper, Harold Shipman, Gilgo Beach, Long Island serial killer with our love,
Dr. B,
Dr. Brian Frederick, Ann Ming and Julie Hogg, heartbreaking. Donald Klein, the infertility scandal, the soap maker, Menendez brothers, the Deadly Affair, which is like lesser known one. That was Penny McAllister and Susan Christie, Dominique Strauss-Kahn, Sawney Bean, which was a great one. That one was a great one. Dorothy Stratton, John Cannon, and maybe Susie Lamplow, the Jinx, Tall Hot Blonde, and today our season finale, Natalia Grace. So it was a fucking ride. Yeah.
That's some shit.
Some shit. All right, well, on that note,
we love you and we love you.
And you guys, you're so fucking
we love
sexy.
You, especially.
And if you wonder how we know our listeners are sexy without seeing some of you, it's because we are more turned on by people's minds than their looks. And if you listen to our shit, then we probably like your mind.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
Am I right?
You're right. You're never wrong.
I'm never wrong. All right.
And I'll tell you what I want before we sign off.
Go on.
Fucking message us your cases that you want us to cover.
Yes, request.
And okay, so let me tell you something. If you want Dee to cover it, message her at
Safi. No, wait, sorry, because my Instagram name is based off of sail away, sail away, sail away. So you got to say it like that. Safi.
So yes. If you want Dee to cover it, if you want some proper facts and research, send it to Dee.
If you want a book to be read on the topic, if you want Jamie to do the research, contact on him.
This one, for fuck's sake. What happened?
Also, can I just say, if people do miss us on the season break, go on our Patreon. We've got full edited videos of our episodes. And we've also got some bonus content. We're going to do a few, you don't know about this yet, but I'll announce it to you as well as our listeners. We're going to have some extra little bonus episodes, which will just be on different topics in our Patreon. And also our spin-off season, Drunk Real Housewives, where I get wasted and watch Real Housewives of New Jersey. Oh my God, in my interview, cringe moment flashback. I told the mafia guy that I had researched my interview with him by watching Real Housewives of New Jersey.
What was his response?
I had never seen that show. I mainly read books. And I was like,
oh, fuck.
I was like, I don't know how to.
Oh my God.
But he did say I looked a lot younger than 40, so. All right, so yeah.
Wait. You want Dee to cover the case? Safi on Instagram. Should you want me to, by chance? At Randa_the Social Club. And I say message us separately because then it's a surprise to the other one. If you send it to the podcast account, we both may see it. And we like a surprise. So
also you can work with us. We do lots of different things. Need a journalist? That's me. Need someone to do your social media management? That's my sister.
Want to learn about LinkedIn and Instagram? Book in with me and I'll train you for an hour. And lastly, my favorite bit as well, season 2, these new boobs.
My new boobs. Did anyone say that?
No. Sorry.
Well, they're my favorite thing. Phil and Grant. All right.
All I got. That's it.
Going back to calling our listeners sexy.
Mwah.
Love you all. Bye.
Hey there. Thanks for being a loyal listener.
Do you need a new website or want to boost your social media performance? Or do you hate podcast editing? You've tried optimizing your website and social media channels, but you're still not getting the listeners, downloads, and engagement you want?
We, the Safi Sisters, love helping people with tasks that they hate. We know a thing or two about podcasts, websites, and social media, and we love working with other podcasters and business owners.
So why not head over to Switchblade Sisters Social Club.com and go to our Work With Us section. We believe in collaboration over competition. A rising tide raises all ships.
Bye!